Hi guys, my name is Moran and welcome to my series Getting Personal, where we discuss different topics through the lens of Reddit stories. And today we are going to be talking about basic manners. I've got some stories here where I feel that people are just lacking this very simple thing that should have been taught to all of us, but sadly not everybody is aware enough to realize when they're being extremely rude, inappropriate, and just a little bit ridiculous. So without further ado, let's get started. Am I the asshole for telling a friend I did not want her to join my date and I for dinner? I, 26 female, have a friend, 25 female, who I met in college, and although losing touch for a bit after college, I moved to the same town as her 6 months ago for work, and we've hung out quite a bit since then. I have kind of integrated into her group, 5 other girls not including us, although I'm not as close with them as they are with each other, which makes sense seeing as how they've known each other a bit longer. I was recently on a first date with a woman that I've liked for a bit, 27 female. We were having a coffee at a cafe and all of a sudden my friend walks up to us and says hi. Not a big deal, I know she comes here a lot, and I introduced them. My friend is super nice to my date. At this point, I hadn't told my friend this was a date. She knows I've dated women in the past, but I wasn't expecting her to realize this was a date because it could very well have been a friend. Then she asks if she can join us and starts to pull up a chair. My date is visibly thrown off by this, as am I, and so I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but date's name and I are on a date right now. I'll see you later though." My friend says, "Oh, I don't mind," and sits. You don't mind? Some people are just priceless. I reiterate more clearly, I'd love to hang out another time, but right now I'd like for it to just be date's name and I. She says okay and leaves. I thought that was the end of it, not at all a big deal. I didn't expect her to automatically know who I am or am not on a date with. I get a call from a different girl in the friend group that night who tells me that my friend called her and was pissed off about earlier, so I immediately call my friend and ask if we can talk. She says it was rude of me to brush her off, it wouldn't have been a big deal to join us, and her other gay friend lets her hang out with him and his boyfriend all the time. This friend is not a part of a friend group, I have never met him. Why is the gay thing is even a part of the conversation? Doesn't matter if you're gay or not, it's absolutely your right not to want your friend join your first date or any date when it comes to that. This gets to me a little because I feel like the two situations are only being compared because her friend and I are both not straight. Exactly. I tell her that because it was a date, it's different and that she can't expect to join me on a first date. She keeps arguing and finally I get fed up and snap at her, "Be honest. If I was on a date with a guy, you would have taken no for an answer and not had a problem and then hang up." She has not talked to me since then, but she told the entire friend group and they are now split. I know this because the friend who first told me that she was pissed off, as well as one other girl, messaged me individually to let me know what was going on and that they're sorry about what happened. The messages from the people on my friends, maybe former friend, I don't know, side are making me second guess myself. I do get that I snapped at her on the phone and was rude at the end of our conversation. I don't think I'm wrong for not wanting her to join us, but am I the asshole for the way I behaved at the end of our convo? I don't think so, because when the person doesn't get the first clue and then the second clue, especially when it's not even a clue, it's like you explicitly tell them to off, and politely so, and then they have the balls to be mad at you and keep insisting that they're not in the wrong, then they sort of deserve maybe a firm talking to. I'm not saying it's great to snap at your friends, but this friend clearly has no idea what boundaries are, gives me a bit of a homophobic vibe. I'm not even sure if it's homophobic, it's just this strange bias towards gay people because somehow she thinks it's okay to join gay people for dates, but it's somehow different for for straight people. This is what it's giving me, and it's a bit odd. Also, I feel like she was just sort of embarrassed to be kicked out of the date, and then some people will get into a defensive mode and insist till they die that they were not in the wrong, instead of just saying, yeah, I kind of was a bit wrong, I shouldn't have done that, I'm sorry if this caused any issue between us. It would have been so much simpler. But no, she chose to just insist. Anyway, edit, update. Okay, so the two girls who reached out and sided with me just let me know that for the last few hours she's been saying stuff that pretty heavily implies that I'm not actually bisexual and I'm just straight. So I guess that explains a lot of it. They obviously were not okay with it, as one of the girls is bisexual and has a boyfriend. They both left the group chat and still want to be friends with me. The other people in our group chat have said nothing to me, and honestly, I don't need the drama. It sucks to realize a friend of mine felt this way about me for years, but I'm glad I at least know what's up now. Okay, this got very strange, but I'm glad that this got resolved and the group just split. The girl brought it on herself. I mean, the other girl, not the OP. Who needs friends like these? Like, honestly, just get some manners and move on. And to the OP, good riddance. Next story is, am I the asshole for telling my brain damaged uncle that I don't give a shit what other people put up with, and that in my house he can be polite or leave? My uncle, 53, is a complete asshole. He is vulgar and rude. He positively delights in being as offensive as possible. My grandmother says that it's from a brain injury when he was young. I have never seen proof of this. My dad, 50, has put up with this his whole life. When I asked him about it, he just says that is the way his brother is and always has been. My mom basically banned him from our house when I was growing up, so I only saw him at family events. At weddings, where he would say the groom looked like a or that the bride looked pregnant. Thanksgiving, where he would tell offensive jokes at the table, or at birthday parties where he said the food tasted like. I, male 27, recently bought a house with my girlfriend 23. It is small and needs work, but we can afford it with a lot of help from our families and the bank. We had a housewarming this weekend and had a barbecue. It was the first time we could host a big group, as I only had a bachelor apartment and my girlfriend lived with her dad. My dad invited my uncle. I did not. Pausing here, I hate when people do that. I hate when especially family members will invite other family members to your event without asking you. Not your place to do that, hun. Stop. My uncle shows up and starts being himself. He starts calling my home a hole and asks my girlfriend why she's with a loser like me. I ask him to come out in the front yard to talk for a second, and I read him the riot act. I do not give a shit that other people have coddled him his whole life. If he cannot be civil, then he's welcome to get the out. I was not quiet. I'm pretty sure everyone in my backyard could hear me telling him to behave like a civilized adult. He left, but spent the rest of the day texting everyone there, including my mom, my grandmother, and saying that it's not his fault that I overreacted to his behavior. It put a damper on the party. His family are kind of on his side, but my mom's family and my friends are backing me. Am I the asshole? Not the whatsoever. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, if he had a brain injury or not, though the whole thing seems a little fishy. Like, what is this brain injury where a person is just being a quit for no reason his entire life? I'm sorry, is that like a thing? But anyway, even without that, it is within your right not to want this person in your house, especially since you didn't invite him in the first place, and you also issued a warning saying that if you're not being civil, you're gonna have to get the out, and he got the out. Your uncle honestly seems like a spoiled brat who actually was getting away with this behavior, brain damaged or not, whatever, again. And you are absolutely right not to want that person around you. I mean, it doesn't matter if he can actually control himself or cannot. Maybe it is like a medical issue, though I sort of doubt it. But it's your house, your rules. He can leave and be a piece of shit someone else. You don't have to take it. Let's move on to the next story, which is, am I asshole for brushing my teeth in public at the farmer's market? So while going to the farmer's market with my mom and brother, my breath smelled and I wanted to brush my teeth. So I brought my toothbrush and toothpaste. As we walked out to the market, I squeezed a bit of toothpaste onto my brush and poured some water in my mouth from my own water bottle to get some foaming action. I start brushing my teeth and make sure to keep my distance away from vendors and stalls. I'm pretty much away from people up until I walk up to my mom and she's interacting with a lady or a potential friend of hers. The lady looks at me funny and I pause brushing to say my breath smells, continue brushing, and walk over to a water drain hole by the parking lot to spit out the foam. The area is clear and the hole is intended for rainwater to prevent flooding. The next day, my mom tells me that what I did was really weird and the lady that saw me brush my teeth didn't pick up any of my mom's calls, and it may have been because I was acting weird brushing my teeth in public. I genuinely feel bad that the other lady didn't pick up my mom's calls because I want my mom to make new friends and be happy. Now my mom is upset with me and told me to never brush my teeth in public again, and framed it in such a way that she didn't want people to hurt my feelings or be unkind to me. At the farmer's market, no one really cared or treated me poorly. The only people who made me feel weird and bad about brushing my teeth was the lady who looked at me with glaring eyes and my mom. Dude, you're the asshole. What do you mean you just brushed your teeth in public? And not only that, like, it was maybe sort of kind of fine while you were staying far from everybody and brushing your teeth. I mean, gum was invented, breath mints, just throwing it out there. But then you just decided to walk up to your mom and a stranger while brushing your teeth and shamelessly tell the lady that your breath smells. She didn't need to know that. She didn't need to be a part of this. And the fact that you are somehow confused about this whole thing just makes it so much funnier. Edit. Scout's honor and promise to Reddit and the internet to not brush my teeth in public again. I am listening and I'm learning. Thank for that. Edit 2. In my messenger bag, I always carry with me toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, water, and mouthwash and gum. At my work, I noticed some of my coworkers brushing their teeth, and they shared with me in Brazil it is very common to do, and also in Korea as well. I do brush my teeth in restrooms and always try to do so in a private stall. Well, you see, you're not in Korea and not in Brazil. That's for one. Secondly, brushing your teeth in the bathroom is way different from doing it in the middle of the street at the farmer's market and in front of a stranger while your mom is talking to her. Edit 3. I talked things through with Mama Bear, apologized, and she said she loves me dearly and doesn't care about the lady who didn't pick up. She just wants to protect me. I love my mom. Okay, that's cute. Edit 4. I am a nerd that likes to be prepared, so in my baggie I have band-aids, medicine, tape measures, snacks, sunscreen, you name it. The toothbrush and toothpaste I had were extras separate from the ones I have in my bathroom. That's all fine, but again, how is your first instinct not gum or mouthwash or breath mints? Edit 5. For more context, it was Mother's Day and my mom was kind of in a hurry. I should have told her to wait for me to brush my teeth, but I didn't want to slow down her plans. I really hope she's not gonna do this again because this is so gross. This is so funny. Okay, just let's go to the next story. Am I the asshole for calling my coworker a nosy after she kept insisting to know my husband's salary? My husband and I, both 33, have been together since college. Over the years, he's had quite the career trajectory. He is a quant PM and makes like 10 times more what I make, and I make a good salary. As we've grown wealthier, I've learned that people become nosier. Friends, acquaintances, relatives, you name it. In the beginning, I would entertain the nosy questions, but since I turned 30, I've adopted a take no attitude. When people ask me how much he makes, I no longer say anything. I've learned the hard way that giving an exact number can have bad consequences. So my coworker, 25, is new and she already has quite the reputation. Very chatty, catty, gossipy, you get the gist. You can just tell she craves wealth and status. She wears a bunch of flashy designer items and is always asking the ladies around the office which of the men are single. She on a prowl. Last Friday, our office hosted an afternoon happy hour. She approached me and asked how me and my husband's recent vacation to Europe went. I told her it went well and briefly summarized what we did. Then the conversation went something like this. Her, so what does your husband do? Me, he works in finance. Her, oh wow, he must make a ton then to be taking you on all these lavish vacations. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how much does he make in a year? Me, yes, we're very lucky that he makes a good salary. Polite smile. Her, oh come on, I won't tell anyone. How much does he rake in a year? Millions? Me, awkward chuckle. I'd rather not say, but it's up there. Her, what, he doesn't allow you to give an exact number or something? Me, visibly annoyed. No, I just prefer not to say. Her, laughs in my face. You'd think the stuck-up one would be the one with money, not the one without. Me, you should learn how to take no for an answer and when to quit being a nosy. It's a valuable lesson. Ooh, get her. Then I smiled at her and walked away. Later on, I had a few coworkers reach out to me and say that she was crying and left early, and then I should apologize for calling her a rude name. I refused. I told my mom, and she said I was too rude to the new girl and that she's young and might not fully understand salary talk. 25 is not too young to know better when it comes to these things. I think she's old enough. Exactly. Husband is fully on my side, but said maybe I should fake apologize for the sake of office politics, which I somewhat agree with. But still, am I the asshole? No, her. She's not in any way entitled to know your husband's salary. And not only that, it's not like you were unreasonably rude to her. She was rude to you first because not only does she have no manners and she kept asking you about how much your husband earns, then she went on to call you stuck up. She fully expected to get away with this passive aggression because she probably thought that you would not clap back, because she's probably used to people just kind of extracting themselves from the situation, not to pick a fight. But I feel like you calling her a nosy and telling her it's a valuable lesson to learn when to stop is a good wake-up call for her. I really hope it's going to be a valuable experience. I don't understand these people that feel so righteous in their need to know others people's private business that they will not stop, and then they will be upset when you don't want to volunteer this information. I wouldn't even apologize and be like, she deserved it. Maybe next time she will know better. So next story is, am I the asshole for not giving up my seat and